Another question that was someone suggested that I was actually going to ask you anyway, and it's slightly maybe not controversial, but slightly shady. One time in a Roscoe's viewing party, you talked
Oh
about
God.
an experience with season 4 winner Sharon Needles, and
Uh-huh.
you said there was like some kind of altercation with your mother and her, like getting pushed up against a wall by Sharon, and someone asked, "Can you like spill the tea about what happened?"
I had a really, really, really terrible experience with Sharon Needles. There was an altercation with my mom, and yeah, she like pushed my mom up against the wall, and I like leaped at her. I was so mad.
I don't know if I want to really start more drama, but my mom just really wanted to meet her, and we were doing a show in Toronto, and so I was hosting the show, and so I brought my mom upstairs, and Sharon came out of her dressing room and like pushed my mom up, and my mom fell over, and I went totally berserk because it's my mom and I love her, and it was dramatic and silly and drunk and yeah, so I just don't really much like her anymore, which was unfortunate because we were really good friends. Well, I was a really big fan of her. Sorry, prior to that incident, I will say.
So just to clarify, you are talking about your biological mother,
My
not your
mommy.
like drag mother, because that was
Don't
the
with my mom.
yeah. I mean, I yeah when I saw that because I saw that in the Roscoe's viewing party because I always watch them, and I thought that was such like interesting tea, and like everyone was talking about it, and I thought that was so interesting. Do you when so I have curiosity when you say things like that at these viewing parties, which I thought was actually really like interesting tea, by the way. Do you get a lot of like backlash or kind of pushback from people? Like, do you ever regret saying stuff at like events and things?
I don't know. Like I totally forgot I said that at the Oscars being ready to be completely honest. Thanks for reminding me. No, I I don't really get too much backlash. Because I don't really say anything with like malice and like ill intent. I I'm not ever really like mean when I talk, and if I'm gonna tell a story, it's gonna be the honest one. And I don't know, like it's just I'm not one to just cause to cause shit. If I'm gonna cause shit, it's gonna be because I'm hanging off something drunk at a bar, at 3 a.m. Like that's the kind of shit that I want to cause.
No, it's like it was interesting tea, and like we don't. I think it was just. I think that you were perfectly within your right to tell the story, and also the way you reacted. Like if someone pushed my mum over, I would be really angry too.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
like it wasn't unwarranted, was it? If someone pushes you,
Yeah. Yeah. I'll push you.
so am I right in thinking that you and Sharon are not on good terms then?
I don't know. I haven't talked to her in years. She'd probably be like, Scarlett, who? What? Like,
So
me, Rita and Kiara, we were wearing all the plastic, and we had those little like shaker heat packs in our like panties and our bras, and then we realized uh they got too hot and they started melting our plastic like onto us, and so then we had to like pull them all out of ourselves, and we were like, oh my god, we have to stay here so cold in this freezing cold hard plastic, because every time we got near a heater or something, we would our outfits would start like forming in a funny way and like cracking and like melting on us. So that was a little added challenge.
So, in terms of speaking of kind of your relationship with the other girls, one thing that I always found quite interesting that they never really explained, so I'd love to sort of hear from you, was there was this storyline between obviously you and Alona were like the sissies, like you knew each other and there was that kind of element to it. But they also had this thing that you and Boa had some like tensions and there were a few arguments and things. So some of my audience actually asked what is the relationship like between you two and what was the backstory, because it kind of they showed the arguments but never really showed why you were arguing.
What's going on with you? What's going on with us?
I've been there for you this whole time, and I feel like every
day. You're just saying shady to me and just using me as target practice. And I don't know why you've just been coming at me.
Yeah, Bo is like one of my best friends now, but we had a complicated history. Like we were friends, and then we weren't friends, and then we weren't sure why we weren't friends, so we just like stayed not friends, and then we became friends again, and then we fought on the show, and then we were friends again, and then the show aired, and we watched our fights, and then we weren't friends again. Like so, it was just this like back and forth little like silliness, honestly, that like your typical local drag drama. You know what I mean? That we kind of just took with us onto the show. And we were just being little, but like I said, like it's like a pressure cooker. And I've said this many times. And when you're like put into this role and into this environment, and being thrown like wrenches, and then you're sleep deprived and you're cold and you're frustrated and you're stressed out. And then like one person like looks at you the wrong way and you're like, yeah, like, and so it was very much one of those situations.
Did you then feel maybe slightly overlooked by the judges?
Yeah, totally. And I felt like I was getting a very underdog storyline. And I was like, I have been doing this almost like, other than Rita and Tainomi, I had been doing it the longest out of any of the girls. And I gave Priyanka like her start. I booked half the cast I'm working with, you know what I mean, at my different shows. And so I was just frustrated with this like underdog storyline they were trying to give me. And I was like, but I'm not an underdog. I used to be. And I just felt like it was very triggering because it felt like a lot of times in my drag, I have been overlooked and people have been like, oh, well, she's too edgy and she's too punk rock and she wears short hair, she doesn't wear hip pads, she has too many tattoos, she's too loud, she's too this, you know what I mean? And so I felt like quite triggered because I was like, not again. Like I've made it all the way here after 12 years of doing drag and and then this is happening. So it was so frustrating.
The final three, she said that pretty much everyone was shouting your name, so she was really surprised that you didn't win. She said basically in the room it was actually your win. So I was just wondering what your thoughts on that were.
I'm not going to discredit Priyanka's win. She's done incredible things with her win, probably more than a lot of the winners of any Drag Race season, but that even Priyanka said that lip sync, I won that lip sync. You know what I mean? Like because I had lip syncs all season. It was like the first time you really got to see me pop off.